For the second time in 3 years, the Baylor Bears are playing in the All-State Sugar Bowl. Welcome in to Countdown to Kickoff Bears in New Orleans, live from the French Quarter. I'm Curtis Quillen.
And I'm Nikki Lattarullo. Tomorrow at this time, the Bears will be inside the Superdome prepping for their game against Ole Miss, the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Yep, and as there are through any season, Nikki, there were plenty of ups and downs as we got through 2021.
There was, and that's how we're going to start our countdown to kickoff. How did the Bears get to the Sugar Bowl?
It all started in San Marcos as the Bears beat Texas State to open the season 29-20 in Gary Bohannon's first start at quarterback. The Bobcats cut it to 27-20 late as the Bears scored on defense with a J.T. Woods pick six and two Abram Smith TDs in his first game back at running back after moving from linebacker.
After two more wins, number 14 Iowa State rolled into McLean Stadium, and Baylor won it 31-29. For the first time in 2021, Baylor went a half without scoring a touchdown on offense, with the only second half TD coming on a Treston Ebner kickoff return.
A week later, 4-0 would become 4-1. Newly ranked Baylor fell at number 19 Oklahoma State 24-14 after failing to score at all in the first half. The Bears cut the OSU lead to 3 in the fourth quarter, but Jalen Warren hammered the nail into Baylor's coffin in this one.
How would the Bears respond to that loss? Well, apparently pretty well, as they handled West Virginia 45-20. It started quickly, a 75-yard touchdown pass on the second play of the game to Tyquan Thornton as the Bears jumped out to a 28-7 lead, and they rolled from there.
Then future Big 12 member BYU came to town, ranked 19th in the country, but Dave Aranda's Bears got the 38-24 win. The Bears staved off big plays from Puka Nacua and Tyler Algier to seal the win. It sent Baylor into its bye week with a 6-1 record and 2 wins over teams ranked at the time that they played.
And coming out of the bye week, the Bears hosted Texas and dynamic running back Bijan Robinson. The Bear defense bottled him to the tune of just 43 yards in a 31-24 win, where Baylor came back from down 21-10 halfway through the third to get the win. That helped Baylor to a number 12 ranking in the season's first college football playoff rankings.
Then Baylor would hit the road for the first time in 5 weeks, facing a TCU squad, which started Chandler Morris in place of the injured Max Duggan at quarterback. He threw the ball for 461 yards in the Horned Frogs' first game without Gary Patterson as head coach since the year 2000, as the Frogs stunned the Bears 30-28, handing Baylor its second loss.
After that, Oklahoma rolled into Waco in Fox's big noon kickoff. Baylor led 24-7 with 4 minutes to play, and chaos set in because of a potential Big 12 tiebreaker. After Oklahoma cut its lead to 24-14, the Bears needed to score to give themselves a positive point differential with the two Oklahoma schools. So the fans, they rushed the field early, but Isaiah Hankins eventually hit the field goal to lock in a 27-14 win.
The next week, the main story in Baylor's 20-10 win at Kansas State was Gary Bohannon leaving the game with a leg injury just before halftime. Blake Shapen came in, threw for 137 yards on the way to the win.
Going into rivalry Saturday, Baylor needed a win to stay alive in the hunt for a Big 12 title game spot. Blake Shapen made his first career start for the injured Bohannon, as the Bears were never really able to pull away from Texas Tech. Jonathan Garibay missed a field goal to tie it on the final play of the game, and the Bears held on to win it 27-24. And they did get some help, and they ended up making it to the Big 12 title game for the second time in 3 years.
With Oklahoma State shockingly winning Bedlam for the first time since 2014, Baylor snuck its way in to the Big 12 championship game for the second time in 3 seasons. Injuries dominated the matchup, though, once again against Oklahoma State. Terrell Bernard was back for the Bears, but Shapen started in Bohannon's place once again, and Jalen Warren was out for the Pokes. Shapen set an AT&T Stadium and Big 12 title game record, completing his first 17 pass attempts. Jaron McVay made the game-sealing tackle on 4th and goal as the Bears won their first conference championship in 7 seasons, and no surprise here, Blake Shapen was named MVP of the game. That has brought us here.